All right, folks, let's get this started. Thanks everyone for joining. This is getting the most out of Dex live on ServiceNow session. Kick things off. First thing, of course, Knowledge is coming up right away. If you haven't registered yet, there is still time. You should go to Knowledge. It will change the way you do your work. My name's Sean Hammer. I'm joined today by G2, my partner and in crime here, and we're going to roll through some capabilities for digital employee experience. Couple things to go. I'm part of the product management team. G2 is part of the product management team. We both work on the Dex solution, and we are here specifically to help you guys learn more about the product, learn how to use the product, get more out of it. We'll be doing a lot more as we go. Couple housekeeping items. Given that this is a virtual session, sometimes interaction is a little bit harder. We really love your feedback and your questions. So when you do have a question, we would ask you to use the Q&A feature in Zoom rather than the chat. That way, if we can't answer your question during the call, we can follow up with you afterwards and still get your question answered for you. We'll also post a recording of this session to our community site, so you can come back to it in the future if you want to review anything we cover. And this slide deck will also be posted in the community site, so you can get both of those together. Finally, at the end of this session, your web browser will open immediately into a survey. Please, please, please give us your feedback in the survey. Your feedback powers our decisions about our product and how we conduct our webinars. Your voice really does matter to us. We don't plan on talking about any forward-looking statements, nothing in the future here. However, this webinar is covered under a safe harbor agreement. So if you are in a purchasing mood, please do not use the information you gain in this webinar as your sole source of information for that purchasing decision. Finally, today's session is part of the Live on ServiceNow webinar series. These are curated events to keep you updated on our latest capabilities, get implementation pro tips, and connect you with a vast community of ServiceNow practitioners, administrators, and leaders. Check out the upcoming event schedule by scanning the QR code on your screen or using the link in the chat. And this slide will come back at the end if you don't get the QR code right away. So you should be good to go there. We're going to kick things off with a poll. First poll, we'll do just the one poll in this session. And this is just to give us an idea of what you know about Dex today. So we'll look for a few of you to answer this, if you would, please. Have you heard of Dex before? Have you been in another webinar and seen this? Do you have it set up and you're playing with it in one of your sub-prod environments or a demo environment? This will help us know where you're coming from and also help us know what we can do more of and better in the future. We'll just go another 30 seconds or so and let everybody get a chance to respond. We really do appreciate it. It'll help us do a better job. All right, we'll wrap this up. 3, 2, 1, end of the poll. And this is pretty good, guys. This is a pretty good mix. So 56-44 on the responses that you've seen a webinar. No experts, so that's great to know. So we will we'll get into this and share all the deets with you. Okay, so let's talk about Dex overall, just really quickly. So for the folks who haven't been to this before, haven't seen anything. Digital employee experience management is the process of monitoring and improving how employees interact with technology in the workplace. If you've been to one of these webinars before, you've seen this slide, but you haven't seen the rest of the deck, so don't run away. We're just going to do this for the folks who haven't seen it yet. The goal is to make the use of technology as efficient and productive and pleasant as possible. It involves identifying and addressing issues that employees may have when using the software, hardware, or cloud-based tools provided by their organization, and gaining understanding about how they feel about those technologies. So it's both quantitative and qualitative. The ServiceNow Digital End User Experience tool, Dex, is a capability. It's exclusive to the ServiceNow platform. We don't collect data from other tools. We don't provide data to other tools. This is all encapsulated within the ServiceNow platform. And so there are several things happening there. We're not sharing the data with other tools, which keeps the data private. But we're also relying only on our data, so other data sources aren't necessary to fuel the ServiceNow tool. We have a bunch more of these sessions. So we are doing a series of sessions for DEX specifically. We're going to do a get started, implement, deploy. These are all different phases of your journey with DEX. And we do one of these a month, and we will rotate through them twice in a year. Today, we are focused on use. And so we're down the ladder a ways, and we're getting the most out of DEX. And this is to help you see how to achieve the outcomes that we talk about and see some of the things that you can do with DEX specifically. We also are doing office hours every month. Down the bottom left corner, you can see we have office hours third Thursday of every month, 9 a.m. Pacific time or 9 a.m. Central European time, depending on where you are, choose what you like best. And this will be the third Thursday of every month going forward. All right, so today we're going to cover some specific things. We're going to use the personality, the persona is the DEX engineer. This is a person who is looking at a slightly higher level, and they are they're looking at the capabilities within DEX to make changes or understand how things are happening in a broad sense to many users. So they're not working on one incident, they're working on an issue that causes many incidents and identifying the causes to then create monitoring and proactive engagements and self-healing capabilities to prevent those incidents from ever being created in the first place. And so the first thing we're going to look at here is alerts and how we use those alerts, what you can get out of them, and where to find them really. We'll continue on with the DEX engineer and we'll look at application performance. And again, this is not looking at an application on a single device, although you can. It's looking at a higher level to see overall which applications are causing pain, which versions of an application are causing pain, and how can we identify those issues and prevent them from occurring, or at least prevent them from creating an incident. And again, we're going to go back to this concept of detect to correct, or detect to alert or correct. We want to identify there's a problem, and we want to correct it when we can, or if we can't, at the very least, alert that there's a problem. And so with the applications, we're doing the same thing. We're looking for the problem with the application on a device, and we're correlating that data by version across device and looking at CPU, memory utilization, and all the different pieces that go into that. G2 will get into that in the demonstration and show you all the pieces we're talking about, where you can find them, and how to get the information out of there. We'll also look at the digital experience overview. This is where we score the performance. And this gives you a basically at a glance view of what's happening across your team. What's everybody experiencing? What we're doing here is we're identifying, again, large trends, and this is really the highest level trend. It gives us that highest level score, but also what are the building blocks of that score, and how are application performance, how is device performance, and how is user service experience and sentiment playing into that. And so we'll get into the specifics of how each of those things build that one number score and each of the scores that are associated. The service desk agent, we're going to switch roles here, new persona from the DEX engineer to the service desk agent. The service desk agent is going to look at a single incident. And that's really typically what's happening. Service desk agents are working on single incidents to resolve problems for users. This is a case where we didn't have the ability for self-healing to take place, or it didn't work and it needs someone to touch it. And so we'll look at incident investigation and the real-time information and historical information about the device or the application that we're troubleshooting. With that, I'm going to hand it over to G2 and we'll follow up with a Q&A. And again, please drop your questions into the chat as we go, and we'll be glad to answer those as they come up. G2, are you ready?
Oh, sure. Thanks, Sean. There is a hands up, so please utilize the Q&A section to ask your question, and probably one of our colleagues can pick the question. Let me share my desktop. In case if you don't see my desktop, do let me know. Assuming you can see the ServiceNow instance. All right. So in case if you are not very familiar with the service operation workspace, so service operation workspace within ServiceNow ecosystem is one-stop shop for all the agent-related activities, which comes as part of workspaces here. So go to service operation workspace, and that's how the homepage look like. So I'm an I'm Callan. I'm an service desk person, and I just logged into my ServiceNow instance. I want to just quickly check, hey, how the how the digital experience perspective it looks like for my entire organization. So I'll just go to Service Operation Workspace, go to Homepage, and I can see some of the handy information which really giving me a fair level of idea what's happening with respect to the end user experience or the employee experience perspective here. So I can see bunch of numbers here. I can see clearly 406 alerts. I can already see there are good 5 users they impacted because of either their experience degradation or they're facing some of the challenges with their experiences. I can also detect active users as well as active devices currently on the digital end user experience. I do have a nice interactive map, so I can really, go and deep dive, scroll in, scroll out, and I can really see what's happening, with the devices or the users across the different geographies, different locations. So I can clearly see there are good 37 active users in India and a couple of other users in different part of the world. So with this, if I quickly just want to jump in and want to see how these 406 alert making sense for me in terms of digital experience and user experience perspective. So I can click here and I'm gonna land, we call it express list in service operation workspace. So here I can see, a lot of alerts already indicating, so which is kind of a good indicator for me. There is some, performance degradation or the end user experience degradation with respect to either devices or some of the application. So I can quickly go and check those alerts, and I can really take up proactively action to keep the end user experience as expected as we promise. So I can come here, I can see alerts here, I can see description as well as duration of the alert, and of course, source is text. I can also see some of the information like CIO configuration item. So with this, what else I can do is as an text agent, I can come here and I can see this particular alert. Um, and I can see some of the information like what's the configuration item involved in and some of the other handy information in front of me. I can also deep dive further. I can open this alert and I can literally go deep dive um, uh, with the alert information. So I can see the summary, I can see detail, and I can read description, something like related to BIOS update. I can also navigate to related records, so I can see who all are the user impacted because of this alert or the indication. What also I can do is I can select this alert, and if I feel as an agent, I feel like there's something need to be escalated. There need to be some kind of a incident created or some record created to take action further. Then I can select this alert here, and I can utilize this option here. So I can create incident directly from this alert itself. Yeah, so simply I can go, yeah, go and please create an incident. Suppose I can see the incident in a few seconds here. So yeah, while incident is on the way, so that's something a capability with me, so I can create incident directly from the alert section. Um, yeah. So I'll be able to see the incident here. So with this, quickly, I want to move on back and talk about something like uh, application experience or what's the experience look like for my employees or the end user, about various web-based application or install application. So I can come here in this section, uh, call application. I can select any application where I want to monitor what's the experience look like. So I can select, for example, ADP um, is a web-based or SaaS application. So I can quickly check, how the metrics look like, what the experience look like about ADP. So I can come the overview section. I can see the good amount of alerts generated, good, so many incident, and it is really tempting me to go and deep dive the detailed metrics. So I can come here. I can quickly check the performance metrics here. Bunch of information in front of me. Some of the information which can help me as an application, as an tax leader. I can quickly monitor some of the information, like what's the average response time for ADP, uh, what's the situation look like with the failed web request, or the availability of percentage. So these are a couple of important metrics I can utilize and detect, how the application is performing, what kind of user experience is with this application like ADP. I can also apply filter. I can see data last 30 days, 24 hours, or even latest data, 2 hours. I can also utilize trend section. So trend section will give me a good amount of idea what was the trend, what was the performance of ADP in last, so say 8 to 10 months. So I can see month on month basis metrics. I can see there is a good amount of fluctuations in the average page load time, or I can see sudden, increase in the response time, and some of the other metrics that I can utilize. So with this, quickly, I want to quickly check what's happening with the install application. So for example, Zoom. So I want to check what's happening with the Zoom. What's the experience look like with Zoom? And I can again utilize same metrics, numbers handy in front of me. Since Zoom is install application, so there is a slight different in terms of metrics, and I can see number of crashes of Zoom, number of crashes in last 2 hours, and what's the utilization of resources. So how Zoom is utilizing the resources from the end user device, as well as CPU usage, memory usage, and so on. In case if I want to deep down further in the version, then I can you know, select any version and see how that particular version of Zoom is performing. Is there some kind of a indication that my end users, they're not getting a good experience with some particular version of the Zoom? So I do have all this information handy in front of me, and of course I can apply filter on 24 hours. I can go back and check the metrics for last 30 days. So that's something very handy for me. I can also see who all are the users impacted because of low degradation of low experience in terms of Zoom application. So I can see all those impacted users. With this, I'm gonna take a pause for a few seconds, and I want to show you a little different experience. So we have a persona like digital workplace leader. And I want to show how digital workplace leader persona can utilize some of our latest capability as part of Feb release digital experiences score. So as Sean mentioned earlier, tax score or digital experiences score is kind of a quantitative, a mix of quantitative and qualitative of indicator. So I can clearly see here uh, how the tax score look like for my entire organization, and I can see like score is showing 57. So of course there is a some room of improvement, and I can apply various different views to see the same metrics. I can go to monthly, uh, and I can really check what was the score for February or even January previous 6 months of whatever time period. With this, I also want to go further down, and as Sean mentioned, text score is really a great combination of device experiences score as well as application experiences score. So which I will just walk you through in a few seconds. Before that, I want to show you again nice interactive map, and I can apply. I can interact here. I can see how the geographic text score look like, so I can clearly see what's the score look like for USA or any geographic, or for example, in India. So that's a good indicator for me if if employees or the end users they're not very very happy with the DEX or the device performance or application experience. So it's a good indicator for me to go and deep dive for a particular location. So with this, I want to just jump in the device experience score, which is showing here 56 and application experience score 58. So if I quickly want to see the device experience score further, so I can click here as an text digital workplace leader. I can deep dive further. I can see, you know, these are few device groups which are showing either average or poor performance. I can also further go down and monitor which are the devices groups showing low performance. And I can clearly see, there's a group here, Windows 2000, showing 51 score, um, and 1 point down compared to last month. So it is kind of a good indicator for me, as well as I can see macOS group, which is 5 point down compared to the previous month. So it is a good indicator for me. If I want to really go deep dive, I can select this macOS one and see what's happening with this particular macOS devices, why they are showing drop in the index score. Before go deep dive further, we do have something like, if in case if you want to learn how this entire calculation works, so we do have something like handy here. We do have weighted average concept where you can tweak some of the criteria for your organization as per your use cases. Of course, so all these are kind of configurable. So now let's come back and I want to see what is happening with the macOS. I can go deep dive here and I want to see why we are showing low score for macOS devices. I can go further down, and as Sean mentioned, right? So tax experience score is kind of a combination of three different quantitative and qualitative metrics. So I can see one matrix here, which is DEX is collecting directly from the end user device health matrix, and I can clearly see there are two metrics showing poor performance, and it seems like battery health is kind of degraded for some of the users, as well as Wi-Fi RSSI score is low for some of the users. So these are kind of a good indicator for me and a good reasoning why macOS group is showing low DEX score. Also, I can observe user sentiment, right? So since it's a service now, so we do have option to float some of the surveys to end users or the employees, and we can collect direct feedback from employees or users, what what their sentiment look like with their devices. So I can clearly see some of the survey responses showing poor performance. Seems like few employees or few end users, they are not very happy with the with the devices as such. So it's kind of a good indicator for me as a leader, and I can clearly see which are the areas need improvement. So seems like there's a good folks, they reported a network related sentiment, and some of them related to batteries, something we have observed in dex metrics as well. So with this, I want to talk about the third component, service experience. So dex device group experience score is a combination of device health metrics, which is coming directly from the end user device, user sentiment we are collecting through surveys. Since it's a service now, so of course we do have a good hold on the service experience as well. So as an tax leader, I can observe, which are the important SLA missed out, what's the experience look like with the service desk, how employees they're getting experience with the interaction with service desk experience. So I can also observe some of the important metrics here. Seems like there were good 5,000 something close incident, um, few SLAs showing poor. So seems like we have a, high mean time to resolve an incident. So which is kind of a good indicator for me. I need to work with the service desk team and how we can make this experience better. So that's about the device experience. If I go back to my DEX score back homepage, I would like just quickly touch base on the application experience as well. Um, So we check the device experience score. Now we want to just quickly check how the experience look like with the applications, right? So I can clearly detect here, some 38 applications showing average experience score. I can go further deep down. Which are the applications showing a low or poor score, frankly speaking? That's a good indicator for me to work upon those applications and how we can increase the experience further. So I can clearly see Smartsheet 48 or even Figma 48. And if I want to deep dive any one of them, I can I just click on the application and I can see here 48 score for Figma, uh, how the breakup look like, health metrics 48. There is a good, low user sentiment as well and service experience as well. I can further deep down again, pretty much similar kind of a way to detect the experience. So I do have metrics directly from the end user device, and I can clearly see here um, there are good field web requests. Oh, I can see 90,000 something field web requests, which is kind of a good indicator for me. I'm sure that employees, they will not have a, you know, good experience with this Figma application. Also, I can detect the user sentiment. Seems like there are good amount of employees, they reported a poor responses, and I can see lot of folks in the organization, they reported you know Figma is not a easy of use application. There are a lot of configuration related um, feedback. So I can see all those items, as well as I can also detect the service experience with regards to Figma. So what was the uh, employee experience while they are connecting with service desk or while reporting their incident or issues to service desk, specific to the Figma application. So I can see here all these metrics in handy. So DEX score, as Sean mentioned, is a great way to keep a pulse check how the experience look like at the organization level. And it's a good indicator for me as a digital workspace leader to act upon those metrics or indicators. With this, I want to switch over back with one of the agent use case, which Sean mentioned about investigation. So I want to just quickly let everyone know this is what my homepage, and I logged in as a Amelia. Amelia is a service desk person, and I want to see, as an Amelia, how I can utilize Dex metrics to resolve the incident in a shorter period of time, how I can utilize the Dex um, matrix to investigate incident very quickly. So there is an incident currently, and seems like there's a user who reported laptop is slow. So as an Emilia agent, I can come here, I can really utilize all this information. I do have a new tab here in front of me, something like investigation. So investigation tab is all about um, metrics coming directly from end user device. And I can see here, seems like this particular caller, the person who reported the incident, is using this particular device. I can see some of the information of device. I can also see some of the metrics in front of me, which is directly coming from the end user device. To collect this matrix, literally, I don't need to really even take this user on the remote session. So I do have all this initial matrix handy, just in front of me. I can also go further down and I can clearly detect here there is a good amount of disk utilization, 50%. That may be a potential reason why user is, feeling like laptop is slow. Also, I can go further down as an agent. I can further deep dive what's happening with the processes, like which are the top processes consuming the CPU resources, which are the top processes they're consuming the memory from an end user device. So it's a fair indicator for me, and I can clearly see Windows Server is one of the processes really taking 24% of CPU or even a heavy amount of memory. So yeah, I can really utilize all this information to investigate the issue and solve the issue further. What also I have power here is as an agent, if I feel like Windows Server is the is a process which is causing the issue, I can select this process. I can even run some of the remedial action directly from the incident page. So I can end the process, which ultimately is going to help end user to improve the device performance, because Windows Server was really utilizing 24% of CPU. So I do have all this power. One thing which also I want to just let everyone know, um, this metric is coming straightforward from the end user device. As an ServiceNow Dex offering, we have something like initial metric as well. So this is recent metrics, and I can pull this recent metrics based on my uses while investigating. Also, I have something like initial metric. So initial metric is the metrics or the state of end user device at the time when end user reported the incident. So there might be chances like I, as an agent, I picked up this incident in afternoon, but the user reported this incident early in the morning. So I can come here, I can see what was the state of the device at the time when user facing the issue, at the time when user was like thinking, hey, my laptop is slow today. So I can come and I can really check the state of device. I can check the various different metrics from end user, and uh, that too at the morning time. So I can utilize the information. I can also compare it with recent metrics, and I can really see, hey, seems like when the user reported this particular incident, seems like core 24% of CPU utilization was there, 21% memory utilization was there. And I can see there was a application like ACC was consuming a lot of CPU percentage, or Windows Server. So seems like it's a good indicator for me to compare the situation, like when user reported the incident, what was the situation, how the device performance looked like at that time. So yeah, that's something is very handy for me. Also, I can see history. I can see what the metrics look like in last 24 hours or even year till date. So I can really deep dive further here, and I can utilize all this information while working on the incident. Something very handy for me. All right, with this, I think that was something I was planning to cover today. Sean, happy to take question if you have more questions.
Great. Thanks, G2. Um, I will answer. I've got one question I'm going to answer live, and then we'll look for any other questions that folks might have, and we'll keep going. So one question that got asked early on, what prompted the need for the DEX tool? And, that's a great question. 90% of what we do at ServiceNow is a result of our customers asking us for something. It's asking for a capability. It's asking us to help them achieve an outcome that they need. And it's constant. We receive thousands of requests every year for additional capabilities and to help our customers achieve different outcomes. When we get those, we evaluate them to see if they are something we can do. And then we look to see if there's something we should do. And not every request is something that ServiceNow should do. As all of you know, there are different tools for different needs. We do a lot, but there are some things, we're not going to replace SolarWinds. Let's just, be honest. We're not going to do that. But we are going to integrate and collect that data or help customers with alerts from SolarWinds or event management from SolarWinds or things like that. And so in this case, we evaluated DEX to see, okay, what does this look like for ServiceNow? Does it make sense? Can we add value to the products that are already in the marketplace? And we said, yeah, we actually can add value here, and we can do something in a way that isn't being done today. The current tools in the market are all great at gathering data and processing data and surfacing information. And all of them have to be integrated back to a system of action. In most cases, that's ServiceNow. And then that's where things actually get done, is in that system of action. And so for us, it was a really easy transition to say, well, we can collect the data, process the data, and have the action all in one place. So I hope that answers that part of your question. In terms of who's going to see it, our goal with DEX is for it to be invisible to end users. End users most of the time shouldn't have to interact with DEX. We do have a self-help feature. There is a desktop assistant application that lives on the device that's optional. Some customers will opt for it, some won't. But if DEX does what it's supposed to do, most end users will never see it, and only service desk agents and DEX administrators will interact with the tool on the back end. And that's our goal, and that's our hope, is that end users don't see it. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any follow-ups to that, I know you went anonymous on this because you had some critical things to say about our UI UX. I'm just going to say never feel concerned about being anonymous. We appreciate every bit of feedback we get. And I will tell you, you were not the only person who said, hey, I don't like your UI and your UX. Can you please do something better? So don't feel bad about that. We're not defensive about it. We want the feedback. It helps us get better. So thanks for that. Roman, I see you've got another question. Necessary client components and connectivity prerequisites between ServiceNow instance and end user device to remotely manage. Great question. So Roman, I'm going to answer that. I'm also going to point you back to our DEX community site. G2, would you drop the link back in for the community site in the chat?
Sure.
We have additional content on the community site and another video where we get into some of the specifics of that. But specifically, Roman, what we do is on the end user device, we have applications that are installed. We have Agent Client Collector that is specifically for DEX. This is a version of our ACC that does not require a mid server, and it does the data collection on the device. We also have two browser extensions, one for Chrome and one for Edge, for monitoring SaaS application performance. And then we also have the desktop assistant application, and that works as a friction-free interface for end users to get back to things like Employee Center or virtual agent, or if you don't use our chat, you can use the virtual agent capability within Teams, and also with desktop assistant. So those three things are necessary. From a network perspective, you have to have a path from the device back to our network. And so we work with our customers to work through proxies or firewalls and help figure out exactly what the specific needs are from your end to make the connectivity work. But we didn't demo it in this. It's really more of a down in the weeds. In an upcoming session, we will get into the specifics of that. So grab some of the additional sessions that are going to be coming up. Put a tickler on your calendar to let you know there's a coming. Join us, and we'll get into the specifics. Okay, another question live. Let me put these on the screen here. Does DEX work well with Tanium for that agent data collection, or is it best to use DEX standalone data? So we are a partner with Tanium. They're a great partner. In this scenario, we do not use Tanium data, and we don't supply data to Tanium for DEX. So these two things really do stand alone, and you would use the ServiceNow DEX solution outside of Tanium on the ServiceNow platform. See, there are a couple other questions going. Any other questions? Anybody have anything else they want to jump in? I see Chris and G2 are typing answers to those that are live. I really appreciate the interaction, folks. This is how we get ideas about what you want and what you need to learn about. We'll give it another minute just to make sure everyone has a chance to jump in. Well, it looks like we're about 20 minutes early to the end here, so we have another 20 minutes. If anybody wants to double click on something, we're experts here. We're happy to jump on. Okay, with that, I'm going to plug one more time. We've got additional webinars coming up. We have some stuff for putting AI to work. So our Now Assist capability, of course, is getting a lot of traction and a lot of attention, and we have a lot of training and expert services and impact available. Hit these QR codes if this is interesting. Again, this deck will be published, so you can pull that off of our community site. And again, link to the community live on ServiceNow schedule, so you can scan that QR code if you haven't already and sign up for additional sessions to join us and learn more about DEX. If you have ideas for things you'd like to see us do webinars for, post those in the community. Put a note in there and let us know. We are, again, interested in your feedback, interested in what you want. And our purpose here is to serve you. We don't do this just for fun, although it is a lot of fun. We do it because we want to benefit you and help you on your journey. So with that, I don't see any more questions. Thank you everyone for joining, for taking time out of your day and spending it with us. And we look forward to seeing you at our next session.